I guess you love movies. I do too. Hi guys, and welcome back to another classic movie review. Today we're going to be talking about the German expressionist classic Metropolis from 1927, directed by Fritz Lang. It was one of the first mainstream science fiction films and inspired so many films after it, and is still inspiring films today. And it's a film I've wanted to see for a long time. One of my favourite films of all time is Blade Runner, and that is heavily inspired by this film. And so what did I think of it? That's what I'm here to tell you here today. So let's get into it. So Metropolis is about a city, a futuristic city, which is heavily divided between the workers that keep the city running and the city planners who created and designed it. And the son of the master of this city falls in love with a prophet who says that one day a saviour will come to solve their differences. Now, if that sounds familiar, it's because many films have been inspired by this movie, and for good reason, because some of the things they managed to do in this film, considering that it was made in 1927, the lack of technology they had, and what they managed to achieve is absolutely mind-blowing. The special effects and the use of models to create this city, the scope and the scale, the visuals, can definitely be seen in later science fiction films, especially Blade Runner. I was blown away by the visuals in this film. Not just the models and the sets, but the cinematography, the way they use light. There's a lot of great cinematography in this film, and they've got a lot of great close-ups as well, really cut in and give you a lot of emotion. As I said, the set design is absolutely insane. It's amazing. The workers' city, which is below ground underneath the main metropolis, and if that sounds familiar, it's because Zion, maybe? Zion, the Matrix, below ground. Yeah, there's so many movies that have been inspired by this film, and I will say that throughout this review because there is a lot. I mean, a lot. Even films maybe you wouldn't have expected. So yeah, the set design of the worker city is incredible. Later in this film, they flood that scene, that set, and the way they did this scene, considering how long ago it was, this film's nearly 90 years old. It blew me away. What they managed to do in that time and how successful they were with it. The ambition levels are unparalleled. I mean, I always say that Lawrence of Arabia is probably one of the most ambitious films ever made. Metropolis may be the most ambitious film ever made. I mean, the fact that, it'd be tough to make a movie like this today. It would be big budget, it would be big special effects, it would be very expensive to make. To make that movie 90 years ago, to even think that it could be made, to even imagine it, the vision of Lang to create this world, which is so engrossing, is beyond my comprehension, really. It is truly phenomenal. And it's not just the visuals that make this film so good, it's the way that the characters are fleshed out, and its talk on social change, and its talk on the industrial revolutions, and how the high classes and the low classes have this incredible divide and belief that one does not need the other. And only when they start to try and destroy the other do they realise how much they need each other. And really the film is about accepting that everyone in this situation needs each other as much as anybody else, and that you have to accept how important for the rich, the working classes are incredibly important, because without them, their machines that they designed won't work, and without the machines that the workers loathe, they will die. So they both need each other, and it's pretty much it's a film about finding that and understanding that and realising what they need more than what they want. And as I was talking about, many films were inspired by this movie. I mean, you can see Blade Runner in this movie, in the way that the city is created, the sets of the city in Metropolis are incredibly similar to Blade Runner. You can definitely see similarities there. I said a lot of similarities between that and the Matrix. Neo as the One is like the savior in Metropolis, and the way that the workers and the poor are all down below, like in Zion. Obviously, it's not completely the same, but it's very similar. And there was another film that I thought was very similar as well. What other ones were there? There are other films. I mean, even Titanic to some extent. The working class, a working class person falling in love with a rich, someone from a rich background. Obviously, it's switched. The rich background is male, and the poor background is the female. But it's switched in this movie. Another beautiful scene in this film is when they meet. Frida is the name of the guy who's the son of the master of Metropolis. Is, I think, is Joe Friedemann is the name of the master, and the name of the prophet, the woman in the film, is Maria. And when they first meet for the first time, it's truly a beautiful scene. I mean, with all the beautiful visuals and set pieces in this film, I'd say that's my favourite sequence. The way they use close-ups in that scene to lock in that sort of transfixion between the two characters, and it is truly a very beautiful scene. So yeah, the inspirations can be seen in many different areas. There's even sort of connections to, I could say, V for Vendetta. It's linked to so many films that you see today. So many science fiction films are inspired by this movie. We wouldn't have sci-fi as it is without Metropolis. And even though Metropolis inspired so much, it was inspired by itself. It was inspired by Frankenstein, the original Frankenstein novel. You can tell that with the creation of the robot in Metropolis, which happened to inspire Star Wars. The creator of the robot in the film, Rotwang, I think that's how we pronounce his name. He has a metal hand. Obviously, again, inspiring Star Wars. The creation of an artificial being that looks like a human, of course, inspiring replicants in Blade Runner. The way that this movie changed cinema, especially in science fiction cinema, is really astonishing, and it really did shock me how good it was. The only real negative I can have with the film is the fact that maybe the acting is a little bit overdone, because the film is silent. There is no dialogue. It's all done with panels, so the acting is slightly overdone in points, but it doesn't really detract from how good the film is and the experience of the film and the scope and the ambition that Lang brought to this production. It is truly fantastic, and if you have never seen Metropolis, I really recommend it. Even though it's 90 years old, it is nearly 90 years old, it is truly a brilliant experience. Yeah, I was shocked and massively appreciated watching Metropolis, and I'm going to give it 10 out of 10. It's probably my favourite silent film I've seen so far. To see how it's inspired modern cinema, and that it still stands up really well today, really was a great impact on me, and I want to see it again at some point, which is unlike most of the other silent films I've seen. So hopefully you've enjoyed my review of Metropolis. If you have, like, subscribe, drop your comments down in the section below. What's your favourite silent film? If you've seen any Fritz Lang movies, what is your favourite Fritz Lang film? Anything like that, any questions, any answers to my questions down in the comment section below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Goodbye.